From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, May 11th, 2016. Silver is trading at $17.51 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,277 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $457. Antiwar.com reports while the peace process itself is still slow going, the meetings in Kuwait have yielded one major sign of progress, a massive prisoner swap agreed to by the combatant factions, which will take place in the next 20 days. According to the pro-Saudi faction, the deal will see both sides releasing some 50% of their detainees over that period of time, which they estimated to be somewhere in the thousands of people overall. The Houthis, however, suggested it would only be in the high hundreds of detainees. The deal came in the wake of a two-day pause in the peace talks last week when the pro-Saudi forces withdrew, accusing the Houthis of a ceasefire violation because of combat they had with a third party, a neutral faction of former Yemeni military forces. When the talks began, there was high hope they might finally end a war which has been ongoing for over a year now. The pro-Saudi forces are demanding to return to power after former President Hadi's resignation in January of 2015, while the Houthis are seeking a path to new elections. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports one of the 6 Baltimore police officers charged in the arrest and death of Freddie Gray has opted for a bench trial instead of a trial by jury. Officer Edward M. Nero will let Circuit Judge Barry Williams decide whether to convict him of charges in a trial to begin Thursday, not a jury. Nero, who appeared at a pretrial hearing on Tuesday, is charged with second-degree assault, reckless endangerment, and 2 counts of misconduct in office, all misdemeanors. He was one of 3 bicycle officers involved in the arrest of Freddie Gray on April 12, 2015. Gray died 1 week later. Baltimore State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby filed charges against the 6 officers on May 1st last year, weeks after widespread protest in Baltimore. Officer William Porter was the first to stand trial, but the 12-member jury was unable to reach a consensus on any of the 4 charges against him, and a mistrial was declared. The other 5 officers, including Porter again, are scheduled to be tried during the next 6 months. Nero has not been charged in Gray's death. Williams said Tuesday he will allow discussion of Gray's injuries, but not step-by-step discussion by medical experts. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. Reuters reports New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said on Tuesday he will not defend a state law that excludes farm workers from the right to unionize, hours after the state was sued by a dairy worker who claimed he had been fired for meeting with labor organizers. The New York Civil Liberties Union filed the lawsuit on behalf of Crispin Hernandez, who said he lost his job in September at Mark Farms, a large dairy farm in upstate New York, where he worked for 3 years. The other plaintiffs were employee rights groups Worker Justice Center of New York and Workers Center of Central New York. The lawsuit filed in state Supreme Court in Albany against Cuomo and the state of New York seeks to provide farm workers the right to organize without fear of retaliation, according to court documents. New York is the nation's 4th largest dairy producer behind California, Wisconsin, and Idaho. The lawsuit said a Mark Farms manager called the police in August after he saw Hernandez meeting with a Workers Center of Central New York representative on farm property after work. Mark Farms did not immediately return a request for comment. About 75% of New York's farm workers are not U.S. citizens, according to the lawsuit. Many speak only Spanish, work long hours in dangerous conditions, and are paid low wages and live in rented farm-owned housing comparable to labor camps, according to the lawsuit. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.